in Shloka 17, we saw the plight of the embodied soul, that priya vastuni labhe sukhi, that the person, the jiva, living in this world, when he or she attains the desired things, they become happy. And priya vastunaha, he alabhe dukhi, and when the object of desire is not attained, the jiva feels sorrowful. The existence of pain and sorrow. Samsaro ayam maya praptaha mithya adhyasa purassaraha, that this suffering has come to me, this samsaraha ayam maya praptaha, by me I have attained this world, and this unique world which we are born in, over here mithya adhyasa purassaraha, that we have attained this world only because there is a false superimpositioning upon this world, that this world is real, this world is capable of giving me happiness, and this world is different from me. These three notions, when they are born in us and we accept them, and this world appears as though it is different from us, but it requires great amount of thinking, that the experience of this world does not happen on the outside. Even though I see the world outside, the experience of the world is not outside, it is inside. In my mind is where I experience everything. So this requires a great amount of inquiry and thinking, that it is this mind in which the world exists. It may be a vast expanse of the Milky Way galaxy, but it is understood in here. It is seen in here, it is not seen outside. It is like the reflection seen in the mirror. The reflection exists inside the mirror. The reflection is not outside the mirror. In the same way, the experience of the world happens in the mirror of the mind. And because of that, inquiry needs to be there, that this world is mithya adhyas. It is a false superimpositioning, that it is outside, but in reality it is happening in the very fabric of my mind. And this, only by inquiry I can get rid of it. So in this way, neyasya nitya sannyasi yona dveshtina kankshati nirdvandvo hi mahabaho sukham bandhat pramuchyate. Bhagavad Gita quote is placed over here. There is a nitya sannyasi, not a kadachit sannyasi, not once in a while I'm having this attitude that, oh, I have taken sannyas. This nitya sannyasi is yona dveshtina kankshati. He does not create attachment or hatred for this world, because he is ever reminded that this world exists in me. If it exists in me, in the very mind, and it is this mind which is taking me for a ride, why am I creating likes and dislikes? He learns to watch the mind, and he learns to dissipate the very energy of the mind by proper inquiry, and that is nirdvandvo hi mahabaho. O Mahabaho Arjuna, come out of this fascination of duality, dvandva, nirdvandva. Become devoid of duality. How? By observing it, by understanding that it is not apart from me. In fact, I am awareness watching it. In this way, Sukham bandhat pramuchyate, come out of the attachment. Continuing, shloka number 18. Upayastu pura proktaha Naradena yudhishtiram Chitta dosha nivrutyartham Shreyase cha smaramitam. In this great Mahabharat epic, Upayaha tu pura proktaha. Pura in the past, Upaya the means to come out of bondage, to come out of ignorance, to come out of impurities of the mind. Naradena Yudhishtiram Proktaha. Narad Muni, he was going by the Indraprastha, and Indra Bhagavan was having Yudhishthir was having problem in Indraprastha. After creating this beautiful city, he started experiencing problems from all others about jealousy that people developed, which is the worst type of feeling. And because of that, the 5 Pandavas suffered quite a bit. So Narad Muni happens to go by, and he asked, he engaged in this conversation that what is this unique world where we are experiencing all types of emotions and feelings. Chitta dosha nivrutyartham, and for the purpose of removing this dosha, this defect, this impurity of the mind, chitta, Shreyase smaramitam, I remember this episode in Mahabharata. So the next 4 shlokas, upcoming shlokas, are bodily lifted from Mahabharata, that allows us to understand the advice which was given by Narad Muni to Yudhishthir, how to come out of these negativities of mind. And mind you, Yudhishthir is Dharmaraj. He is the very embodiment of Dharma. And you imagine if Dharma itself goes through rocky and turbulent experiences, then what to talk of all of us? That is to show that when even living the life of Dharma, we may be the embodiment of Dharma, but it requires great amount of effort to face this world of duality, to face this world of existence, which appears as though different from me, which appears so fascinating, which appears so alluring. That requires great amount of work. So that is talked about, the impurities, the 6 forms we talked about earlier, as anger, as desire, anger, delusion, greed, arrogance, pride, envy, all those things. Now he is going to talk about that. So how do we rise above these kama, krodha, lobha, moha, matsarya? That is from 4 shlokas talking about it. Asankalpat jayet kamam Krodham kama vivarjita Arthanarthekshaya lobham Bhayam tatvavamarsanat. asankalpat jayet kamam krodham kama vivarjana. So first one taken is Kam, the very reason why we have all taken birth, unfinished karmic debt, vasanas, desires, all these things are the very cause of our birth. Asankalpat jayet kamam. Kamam, desires. How do we conquer desires? We are a walking, talking bundle of desires. And we need to overcome them. How do we overcome these desires? There's a pressure of desires and they act upon us. See, these desires which are hidden within us are tendencies. And tendencies require an opportunity to manifest. But if that opportunity is not given, the tendency will not germinate. You know, the beans that we sprout, we can store them in a bottle in the pantry for years at a time. Nothing will happen. But the minute we take the beans and we put them in a bowl and we pour water on it, those beans cannot be put back into that bottle. No, the germinating process has started. Those beans, they will swell up and they will germinate. So the minute the beans are introduced to water, finished. We can never ever store them back again. They have to manifest. These vasanas are the dried beans which are stored up. And when opportunity is given, these tendencies, they rise. So how do these tendencies manifest? We have to understand. See, that is why the study of Vedanta allows us to get over all these things. How do they manifest? For a tendency to manifest, we have to consciously meditate upon that tendency. And for us to meditate upon that tendency, what is required is a tiny little sankalpa. What is a sankalpa? Sankalpa is none other than us consciously meditating upon a tendency. How? We are driving and we see a billboard. New shopping mall coming up in a month. And he said, oh really? Last time I went on that road, it was just a jungle. Now a shopping mall. You know, just a simple billboard and a sign. Is there a desire to shop? No. But that little sign creates a tendency to go check it out. And the minute that thought enters that I am going to check it out, I want to know what has come in this neighborhood, then I find myself going over there. oh wow, they've done a good job. What a construction. The trees and everything was taken out and all this thing has arrived, but then they have added these trees and this wonderful domain area. They have created spaces for people to take a stroll in the evening, this and that. And we go over there and these window shopping, there's no desire to get anything, but the new latest gadget is there, and there is already a tendency for gadgets. Why? There's a technical person, but there is no desire to buy it, but there are tendencies because this person is a technical person, they are an engineer or whatever it may be, they are in R&D, and oh, now that tendency is given an opportunity to germinate. And everywhere we go, Target, Walmart, HEB, we always walk out more with what we went there for. Why? Because Kamana got an opportunity to express. A desire was not there, but we walked away with that desire, and that desire has to manifest. Pharmacy is the only place we don't walk away with it because the doctor has given that and we cannot, thank God, buy any medicine more than that. Arey, that antibiotic is on sale, let me pick it up. It doesn't happen because they don't go on sale. But everywhere else, we pick up. This world is a massive sankalpa. You imagine it is a sankalpa shakti of Narayana. Then we are the tiny little, dolls dancing to the strings. So, this sankalpa we have to learn to watch. And there are ways to work with it. There are ways to work with. I know people who drive long distance to get 4 cents cheaper gasoline. And they will go over there, they will get that gasoline, go inside the store, swipe that, and they will see something for 99 cents they'll pick up. That 4 cents they saved, they gave more money because they only filled 5 gallons. And they saved 20, but they spent 99 cents. And all that driving. See, we don't realize these little things, they add up to a giant mountain. That's how mountain is built. Little grains of soil put together is a massive mountain. So our vasanas have attained bal, and they've gathered these tendencies because of sankalpa, because of our mentation. We've given opportunity to mentate, fancying. But if that opportunity is not given to fancy, in this country we don't use the word fancy. I went to, just coming from England, everybody uses, do you fancy some food, do you fancy? I'm like, what is this fancy? Then I realized, would you desire, would you care, would you want? I said, अच्छी बात है, आप तो संकल्प में ही चले गए, you just got into fancying everything. But this desire, oh my God, it creates a world of possibilities that we did not bargain for. And this is how the universe thrives. Jivas thrive. So everything has a tendency, and that tendency creates it. All animals, all species, but for them the tendency is programmed. For us, Bhagavan gave us the equipment to be discriminatory, but we hardly use it. This is what has to interject between this fancying something. If this interjects and says, there is no need for it, that is called asankalpat jayet. Sankalpa, fancying. Asankalpa, do not even fancy, do not even mentate, brood over. These are the words. Newspapers, magazines, billboards, window shopping, browsing on Amazon. This day we can fancy from the very tip of the fingers looking at the screen on our computer. Even by mistake we end up on the wrong website. Finished we are. A desire will enter and it will take on a life of its own. A major problem on campus, kids addicted to so many things. I didn't even know you could get addicted to certain things. People are addicted to shopping. People are addicted to surfing on the website. People are addicted to not just video games, but video games played on the computer, and they get a kick out of playing with somebody in Russia or something like that. And time is drained out. So many things happen. This desire is a unique thing. So, asankalpat jayet kamam krodham kama vivarjanat. And see, when that mother comes and says, you have exactly 5 minutes to finish that computer. After that, it is going to be turned off. You have 20 minutes for your show. Then the TV is going to be turned off. The minute mother says that, that boy just goes into an anger fit. Why? Because mother becomes the obstacle between him and his joy. And that joy he's deriving from the desire, and the desire is whatever, Netflix or movie or whatever it may be, that TV, computer, whatever they are putting their time in, even that phone. You have 20 minutes with it. So then anger starts, because the desire is to find joy in it. Find joy in whatever it is that we are doing. But if we learn to be content, and that's why keep on saying in Bal Vihar to kids, learn to be content with who you are, not what you have. Not what you want. Then it will be a problem. We are just always wanting, and wanting is that desire. I'm bored. Learn to spend time with yourself. You're not spending time with yourself, that's why you're bored. I tell kids, you have to continuously entertain them. I said, it's not my job to entertain you. You entertain yourself without any of these gadgets. How do I do that? I said, there are books, there are puzzles you can play with, you can learn something, you can grow, so many things. So if we have a desire to grow, then that person is in a different realm. Their priorities are all laid out properly, and they find success because they don't allow desires to destroy them. They have a goal and they work on the goal. So now the desire is that one particular goal that they walk on, that path, and anything which is distracting, go away. But they have trained themselves from childhood. They've cultivated a habit of reading, cultivated a habit of helping out, taking on chores in the family business. I saw kids in this little village in Himalayas, and they don't have any gadgets, nothing, no TV, no nothing. There is no signal. What are you going to do? But they are such happy kids, and not one child said, I'm bored. And mentally imaginative. Oh, wake up, I have to help mom in the field, and they are continuously working. So physical body is healthy because it's moving. That is the first casualty in our so-called developed nations, you know. So those kids, once they are done with it, come home, take bath, get clean, sit down. They will sit with one another, and they don't even have board games. They invent with few stones they will play, they will draw it out and they will throw it. Oh, I'm going over here. And they invent their own games with whatever is available, with some sticks and stones and leaves. And see, necessity is the mother of invention. Then the mind becomes so alert, you know. And then the other kid wants to invent something better than that. All different ways of chopping a tree, and we just go to Home Depot and buy that saw and we just chop. And they have such innovative ideas without destroying it. How do we cut it so that it grows even more? I mean, this is their livelihood, so they've put thought into it. But very simple things. So Kamana we fuel in our culture from childhood, and it becomes very difficult to control that mind later on. To calm this mind, to make this buddhi single pointed, it becomes an uphill task. So asankalpat jayet kamam krodham kama vivarjitam. Anger, we have to learn to rise above anger by putting a lid on desires. How do we do that? By not even allowing these desires to manifest. How do we do that? Observe, where do I go? Who do I hang out with? All these things contribute to desires. Where is my time draining? How is it draining? Then the next one over here, artha anartha ikshaya, by seeing the calamitous nature of, any material possession is called arth. Any material possession. how much do I keep on accumulating? Arth, anartha, ikshaya. Learn to see the calamitous nature of possession. We weigh ourselves down. A simple desire to have a pet. Somebody has a desire to have a pet. Okay, that child is screaming, Mom, I want a dog, I want a dog, I want a dog. Said, no. Finally given and said, okay, we will get a pet. Now they get a pet. You know how much time and effort it goes after taking care of that. Now the family wants to take a vacation. We have to find a solution. Just the other day I was driving back from airport. Right next to that Spirit of Texas Drive is a pet motel. So you can drop your pet off and then you can go over there. And you pay more for that than that airline ticket. And we went to all these websites to find a good deal airline ticket and easily pay $580 to keep this pet for 1 week. And then, come back, bichara, lost weight, and then you go to PetSmart without even going home. You first go there, buy a toy and give it. Hare Ram, 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 Ram. What all things we do, we don't realize. These are things that I see, and I said, okay, you get it. And then Swami ko puche, Swamiji, should I get pet? I said, just ikshaya, just see what happens. We don't see the total picture. We have to learn to see the total picture of everything. Very easy to buy a BMW, but the maintenance, they eat you up on maintenance. A Benz and BMW, it's a big price tag. You spend more on maintenance than the car, and car itself, it's a hefty sum to begin with. And then I don't have money for anything else. I'm broke. These young kids, first job, and they go out and they get such things. I said, think. Ikshaya. The whole Bhajagovindam is Shankaracharya ji's Pratipaksha Bhavana. Learning to see the other side of the coin. And he gives 32 examples in Bhajagovindam, in 32 shlokas. He's even given the other side of the coin of old age. He said, what happens in old age? At least develop vairagya because of that. Don't wait until then. But no, we are happily angam galitam dashana vihinam jatam tundam vruddho yati gruhitva dandam tadapina munchati asha pindam. He says, look at what happens. Just, fast forward life for some 50 years. I do this exercise on campus. And you are 18, 19, 20-year-old. I said, first class is always, you fast forward your life. 10 years, where do you see yourself? And they all say, I see myself, Swamiji, in a nice home, married, a job. And I make them write down. I said, now you work for this. When Friday comes and when the drinking is around the corner to pick up a glass on 6th Street, you think about what you want 10 years down the road. If you go to 6th Street, you're delaying that. That 10 will become 20. Nowadays, the statistics is 60 to 70% of these kids will not see what they have dreamt. Why? Distractions loot away the very vitality of life in youth. What happens then? Arey, what to talk of youth? Adults, their parents are not any better. So, ikshaya, we must learn to see, and we must learn to show this to children from childhood. Look, if they demand something, you make them sit down with a 8.5 by 11, write down what a day would be like with this desire. This is called artha anartha ikshaya. Very important, very important. Buying a home is a big investment. It's not like you just do some window shopping. We have to think about it, because mortgage, utilities, and this day and age, the uncertainty of jobs, and people have to move from here to, it is like shuttling back and forth from California and Texas, and to pack up everything and to move, and it's a big investment. बस अच्छा लगा, ले लिया. अरे, but you write down what are going to be the same thing. I go to the same thing, ashrams. Everybody now, Swamiji, we want to build an ashram. Yes, I'm going to next month, Raleigh, Carolina, and says, we are ready for an ashram. I said, I want a board meeting. I want all of you to sit, and we will go run through an exercise of ashram. Easier said than done. Say, like a home, So we have to learn can we manage it? Is it a need or is it a want? Because next door Salem has it, we don't have it. Arey, let Salem do whatever they want to, you do what you can do, that's all. So see, these are, and I'm giving examples because in all walks of life this is necessary. Don't just think that it is only in grahastha ashram. Brahmacharya ashram they have to do, grahastha ashram, vanaprastha ashram, sannyasi also, institutions, this, that. So very important. And bhayam tattva avamarshanaat. Fear. Somebody did ask, how do you rise above fear? Majority of our fear is fear of failure. Our number one fear of death. Second, fear of failure. Abhinivesh, that fear of death. And what is death? The biggest change. That I am going to drop this. Actually, meditation is very difficult for a lot of people because there is a fear. The mind fears kuch ho jayega, something will happen, I will lose myself. This mind fears it will have to change, and mind doesn't want to change. That is a fear. See, we have to face that. Only then the mind will become strong. It is one of the weaknesses. It doesn't take on to meditation because there is a fear, I will have to change. And Ramana Maharshi ji has explained this very nicely, that mind has to in meditation commit suicide. And that is the greatest fear mind has, that I will have to change one thing, but then it is going to have to give itself up for that. And that is the most fearful for this mind. What is mind? Prakriti. Prakriti wants to be alive. That is why that Prakriti Upasana helps. It strengthens the mind. It allows the study of Vedanta. Why? We are all Atma, yes. But why? It is difficult because this bhaya, fear of death, fear of change. Even when the family has to move, children get fearful. Will I have my friends? If they have to change school, it's a big thing for them. That whole movie is based upon that, isn't it? Some children's cartoon movie came about this girl's mind and how she deals with it. I don't remember the name, but anyway. Inside Out, yes. So, fear in children. So, this has to be faced. How do we face that? Bhayam tattva avamarshanath. We must be firmly rooted in our understanding. Satyameva jayate na anrutam. Truth alone is. There isn't anything else. There is nothing other than truth. And it is not a truth in seventh heaven. That truth is me. I am that truth. Then people do all sorts of things. They do bungee jumping and jumping out of an airplane. And why? I want to face my fears. Realize you are immortal. Jumping out of a plane, you are getting adrenaline, that's all. So facing fear without tattva avamarshanath, we will never come out of the fear. And then fear of water and fear of, you name it, a psychologist can give you a volume on it. And these are all our tendencies from innumerable births that create these uniqueness. Must have in some janma fallen from some height. In some janma, water calamity must have unfolded in front of. I know a boy in this, he comes and sees me. He cannot get behind a steering wheel. He doesn't want to drive. Born and raised over here. Why? He was 8 years old, involved in a car accident. He was sitting behind. Dad was driving and dad died. He watched his dad die and he kept on screaming, "Dad, Dad, Dad." It took ambulance and fire people 10 minutes to arrive at the scene. It was a little bit out of the town in a country road. By the time emergency vehicles could arrive, those 10 minutes had left a permanent scar. For an 8-year-old, it's a pretty heavy thing to witness. So now he has this fear, and it was not addressed, his teenage years, and he's 28 now. I said, you have to go and seek out help from a counselor. It is not going to go away. Because life becomes paralyzed in this country. If you don't drive, what do? We don't have good public transportation. So, see, these type of things, it changes us. It paralyzes us. So, our fears, we don't know what all things we have brought as tendencies. So we have to, the only way we can come out of that is we have to go higher. The mind has to move towards the understanding of the higher truth. In this way, over here, it is, Guruji has written so much in this shloka. It is a beautiful, beautiful shloka, and you have to contemplate upon it. You read this commentary, it is a fantastic commentary. It will give you some pointers, especially what we do in meditation. We think about the happiness about past, and we think about happiness for future. This is what we brood over in the seat of meditation. We want to be happy. And when we dive into it, the mind realizes it has to change, and it has difficulty accepting that. So all those things very beautifully Guruji has talked about, so you can read up on that. Anvikshikya shokamohau dambam mahadupasaya yogantarayan maunena himsa kayadyanihaya. Anvikshikya shoka mohau. Shoka, grief. Bhagavan starts with that. Ashocyanan vashochastvam. Bhagavad Gita starts with that you grieve for what you should not grieve for. So the whole Bhagavad Gita addresses this shoka. And why shoka? Because it creates a host of other emotions and feelings which paralyzes it. So first thing that shoka, grief, creates is moha, delusion. And moha is of three types: moha, amoha, and vyamoha. Vyamoha. So we'll talk about that. Shoka, grief. How do we come over grief and delusion? Anvikshikya. What is that? Inquiry into the truth alone can get rid of grief. That is it. Inquiry into the truth. There is no easy solution. Imagine a mother losing her child. It is like the height of a human grief, is it not? A parent, could be any mother, father. What can the world do to alleviate that grief? Nothing. There is no substitute for a child. You cannot go and get another one. So how do I deal with that colossal loss? And that is what Bhagavad Gita is. He's imagining the loss of his near and dear. So, what is the solution Bhagavan gives? You are truth, isn't it? Bhagavan tells Arjuna, you are truth. And good thing he learned this, because he loses Abhimanyu. Had he not gone through Gita, what would have happened? Even with that much Karishye Vachanam Tava in the 18th chapter, oh Lord, I will do. But then he was overcome with that grief. Arey, my son is gone. And he vowed to get rid of that person. Now, you imagine if we do not have knowledge of the self, how would we deal with the calamitous situations of life? That's why usually, people seek out a Swamiji, a learned person, but they get some peace. Why? Because some words of wisdom. That is all. This one lady I met, and she was grieving over the loss of her mother for 7-8 years. And it's not like she lost her mother when she was young. She was 86 years old. I said, just wake up. And I gave her left and right on that. And it woke her up. She never expected, compassion or sympathy not being there. And I was not at all compassionate, didn't sympathize. I said, she lived a good life, 86. If she doesn't go at 86, when is she going to go? So I'm not saying we shouldn't grieve, yes. But 5 years, those 5 years you cannot even pay attention to your kids, and you go into depression, and you have to take some medicines and all those things, because we've not inquired into the truth. We've not inquired into the truth. And because of that 4-5 years of moha. And what is a moha? Marriage falls apart. She doesn't pay attention to family life, children, husband. The whole thing just collapses. Now you are left with an added grief, is it not? So shoka, if we don't deal with it right there and then, it will turn into moha. And moha is of 3 types. There is a moha, amoha and vyamoha. Moha, simple delusion is, should I go to Mexican or Italian for dinner? And we waste 1 hour deliberating that. That is called moha. Arey, just khana to khana hai, you have to eat. Pick one and go. Why waste 1 whole hour on it? It's simple moha. Amoha. So moha is at the level of body. We are draining physical time, chronological time. Amoha. What is amoha? Should I study engineering or medicine? Swamiji, I'm going to explore possibilities. For how long? 8 years on campus, taking every single class in all departments and still not figuring out what I want to do with life. That is draining psychological time. That is amoha. And vyamoha, vyamoha, not educating intellect. That is vyamoha. And intellect has to be educated that its nature is this. And if that is not given, colossal ignorance, then all our decisions are wrong in our life, because the true picture is not there. Moha, amoha, vyamoha. Shankaracharya ji uses this word vyamoha in Dakshinamurti Stotram because it's the absolute. That delusion, when the intellect is not educated about its true nature and the purpose why it has arrived on this planet, if that is not there, you imagine the decisions that it has to make for life. Is it not? That shok, moha. That is why shoka is very important. We deal with it. Why anvikshikya? The only way we can get rid of this, this and this is this has to be educated about that. Now are you following? Once we have that goal, then we know, food is all I have to eat. I will eat this. Then, oh, I only like this food. I don't like this. Arey, ambience is not good. Nachte hi raho. Bas. Keep on dancing. Go all the way out to a place on the banks of Lake Austin, which is dried up in the heat, and have your nice little nachos. क्योंकि मेन्यू पे और वेजिटेरियन कुछ है ही नहीं. See, simple things, it drains. We laugh at this, but our life just goes away. There are no proper decisions. But see, all our decisions, they fit in once we know, okay, I have not attained it, but I have to go towards it. But then food becomes simple, lifestyle becomes simple, living becomes simple. Bas. And there is no confusion, Oh, the confusions people have. So many confusions. This is why, because we don't have a total picture in mind. This is why this Atma Vidya is so important. Once we have this total picture, all other problems are fixed. Damba mahad upasaya. Damba, hypocrisy with upasana. Everybody should have an upasya devata. We must develop an interpersonal relationship with a deity. And that destroys hypocrisy and ill judgments. Ramana Maharshi ji and Ramakrishna Paramhamsa, we all know. Sri Ramakrishna Paramhamsa's Upasana of Mother Kali. What problem did it not fix in his life? Even the cancer that he got, and everybody, Narendra and all his disciples, Vivekananda, all of them, please pray to her, she can get rid of. So is that why I worshipped her all these years? See that bhavana, there is a growth in bhavana. But he would not have that bhavana had he not worshipped her for 30-40 years. It was just a simple Brahmin boy who, for the sake of money in the family, started this worship of Mother Kali. And Ramana Maharshi ji, he left in search of Lord Shiva and he just fell in love with Shiva, that's it. And he was the most content person. Upasana fixes all types of our ill judgments. And that's what hypocrisy is. Once we have an interpersonal relationship with God, nothing can come in this world to shake me. And the greatest problem is keeping up appearances. Showing this face over here, this face over here, this face over here, and this face over here. And that becomes a burden for this mind, This is the burden of the mind. This is the true Manah Shodanam. The mind becomes heavy. I have to tell this person this thing. And I have to remember what I told that person, so I have to repeat over here something because I know this person knows this person. Array, complicated web we have to weave inside. This is what hypocrisy does. But Upasana fixes all this. I am who I am. You take me as I am. I'm not here to impress anybody. I'm not over here to score any brownie points. That's it. And I tell you, wrong people will leave that person. Because they realize not worth messing around with him. Who called Sri Ramakrishna Paramhamsa madman of Dakshineshwar? His critics, isn't it? It was the hypocrite people in Brahmo Samaj, but the true ones left that and came to him. That's all. And he only wanted 4 or 5 people. It's not like he said the whole Calcutta has to listen to me. He never wanted it. He cried with joy and happiness when Narendra came. He said, that's why I've come over here. Bas. If one person can steal my wisdom, enough. Gurudev used to say, loot me, steal from me, blunder from me, but take my knowledge. Nobody wanted it from him. Because the world is filled with hypocrisy. Who would want it, So, dambam mahadupasaya. People who do great upasanas, they have strength unshakable. And yogantarayan maunena. Oh, I have gone way above. I won't be able to complete it. Monday we will continue. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukha bhag bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri